yeah, sort of welcome to Friday Night Club again.
What colour's your Bugatti? To start off, what colour's your Bugatti, Brad?
We got Mr. Tate here tonight.
What colour's your Bugatti, Steve?
White.
We've got the top
I'd
G
love chrome.
ginge here. Top ginge.
Top ginge.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
1,000 press-ups a minute. What are you doing, Brad?
I could do about,
Minute.
50.
Minute.
A minute.
50. I could do about 50
Does
in a
1,000
minute.
press-ups in a minute.
Me and Brad.
Yeah, that's all I could probably do now.
We don't.
I
we
can't.
don't
I
mess
used to be
about.
able to do more, but what can you do?
You reckon you can do more than 50 in a minute? Is this going down the road of I can do 2 shots in 10 seconds? I go, fuck no, I can do 5.
Yeah, I could do a 50. Shall I do 50 right now in the podcast?
Challenge accepted. Go for it.
Challenge
sake.
accepted, yeah. Can we have a little timer on?
Yeah,
this
I'll
one?
get
Can we have
this.
A little timer on
Hang on
this?
a second.
Fuck, I've called myself
Step
out.
up, Bradley Bonner.
Where can I
and
do
do
it?
the 50
Where can I
press
do it?
Do it
ups.
on the floor, just in
No,
front of the
because
car.
it won't be in the camera.
No, but
That's
we-
all right, but we can count them. This is going to be
yeah,
quite
we can
fairly
count them.
entertaining.
You
I've got
are-
a stopwatch.
Go on, Billy Big Bollocks.
Bradley,
I can do 50
Bradley.
press ups. Right. So let's
Here we
see.
go.
Right.
Hold on, boys.
So Jay, you're doing the time.
got the time.
I'll do the count.
Yeah.
And halfway through, Brad's going to be fucked.
Yeah.
Right,
Here we
Brad,
go.
Jay's in charge of the
Timer.
timer. I'm in charge of the count.
Here we go.
Go on, step up.
In 5, 4,
4,
3.
Hold on, I'm on the fucking cables here.
Right. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
3, 2, 1, go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Look at him
10,
go.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
really
18,
good at
19,
blowjobs. His
20,
neck movement's
21,
very impressive.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
He's having a
So that's
conversation.
31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36.
You were,
Not doing 50. Fuck
mate,
that.
you were halfway. You were halfway.
Oh.
You could have smashed it.
You'd have smashed
You could
that.
have smashed that.
That's it. That's
Right.
Brad.
Anyway, so
that's
after
Brad
your
Funk for the rest of the
workout,
podcast.
after your workout, I recommend having a Lucasade Sport.
Oh, Brad, isn't there something we want to discuss today? Isn't there?
Oh yeah, so our main topic today is to really dive into a character on this podcast. His name's Stephen Bonner. He's my father.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
You didn't know this today, but
No.
we
stitched me up, you
Yeah,
little
we
fucker.
stitched you up.
we wanted to ask you some questions, and we wanted to just delve into you a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Go on, then.
I caught
Let's
you
go
out,
for it.
didn't I?
Yeah, you did, you little bastard.
I'm getting my breath back still.
Listen, you get
So
your
that's
breath.
hence the reason you got a phone. You got a little shop in this, didn't you?
100%.
Stuff to
Yeah, I've got
say
some
and
questions.
say, innit? Okay, go on
I've
then.
got some. Yeah, of course, 100%.
I'm a little bit nervous now because I don't know what they're going to ask me. So
Is there any questions in particular you wish to? If you want to point to the ones that you want to ask him,
Oh,
why don't you start it off?
yeah, that's a good one. So, right, I think you're a builder, obviously.
Yeah.
So the first question I want to ask you, and I know this is something you're quite passionate on. How do you feel about pricing jobs up?
I hate it.
You called that?
I hate it. I think we've been pricing a lot of work recently, right? So I kind of got a real good touch on what it's like right now, for me anyway, and I can imagine this is the same for a lot of other people, is like pricing jobs, very difficult. So I go to a customer and they go, oh, it's a set of drawings, well, this architect draw us up a set of drawings, how much is it going to cost? I go, what do you want? I go, well, I don't really know. I know I want this like extension as it is and everything, but I don't really know what I want inside. I don't know what I'm going to do, if it's a telly or whatever, and all this sort of stuff. So I think the biggest issue when you're trying to price a job out is what does the client actually want?
Yeah.
And then when you ask them what they want, they go, well, I don't know. What do you normally do?
And then you've
you
got
go,
the man and the woman, haven't you?
yeah,
Trying to,
and you got to bond
link.
those two together as well. So you got to take what the guy, like the guys generally is always the one that's paying for it, 95% of the time, and then you got the wife or the girlfriend or whatever. She has her own point of view, and it's trying to get them two to align and to actually understand what they want, so you can price the job up. And I'm like, it's always sort of fascinating me is how do builders price jobs up to make sure they're going to make money? Because I hear it so many times, and we've had a price for the job, and then the builders come in and try to charge us another $5,000 for extras, but we're not paying the extras. We just want to pay the price. And you go, well, you can't kind of do that, because you've got to understand from the builder's perspective, when he was pricing the job up, that he's got to try and understand what you want. Yeah. And it's like, I suppose, putting it into practice is this. Right, when I was building this, I didn't even know what I wanted. I knew the footprint size and everything, but I never knew how I was going to spec it inside.
You got fans, you got the ceiling.
Yeah, I didn't plan on. I didn't plan on the
guess
fans. I didn't plan. I kind of knew I wanted to do something funky on the ceiling, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And to put that into perspective, you look at the ceiling and go, "Oh, it's lovely," and everything else. Yeah, but that's £5,000.
That was my question. I was going to ask, how much was just that ceiling? And as you said, £5,000. Yeah. So if you take an initial price of that, of your build, and then stick on another £5,000 on extras, that's quite a terrifying sort of price.
Yeah, and bear in mind, this is 3 walls thick. So this was made into like a soundproof room, so we can enjoy obviously the entertainment, and the music quality gets better. Everything else.
Podcast location.
Yeah, podcast location. Yeah, podcast studio, isn't it? So when we built this, we didn't know we were going to do this. I never thought about doing this, and I didn't really think about we were going to sink the TVs in the wall. We're going to have all the shelves. It kind of evolved as it's going along. So if I'd have priced this for somebody, and then this evolved to this level, I'd probably be going back to them and going, right, we're looking at probably about £10,000 in extras. You'd imagine then that client, or me as the client, going, well, I'm not paying that. You priced up the job. Yeah, but I didn't know we were going to do all this. And, so I find it very difficult to price jobs, and I absolutely hate doing it. And I still believe that the best way to do it is on a cost-plus basis.
Got you.
So it works well. We've just done it for a client on a very large development, and it works very well because it's real-time money. When you're doing a job and you're estimating something, so because every price is an estimate. So if you're looking at, say, this, you estimate it at, I don't know, 60, 70 grand, 80 grand, whatever it be. So you're guessing, will Barry, say, just taking Barry, for example, will Barry be able to lay this floor in day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days?
Month. I think a great point to say, and I'll shout out Mickey for this one. So Mickey, on our last podcast, he just said to me earlier, came up with a brilliant idea, and something I think that's actually so true is in building, right, in terms of doing a price, you sit there and go, that's skirting and architrave over there. I'm having 3-inch skirting and 4-inch skirting and 3-inch architrave, and you're there like, right, okay, that's good. You can price for that. They suddenly come in and go, I want 6-inch skirting and 2-inch architrave, right? It just confuses the whole pricing mechanism up. And there's so many choices in building. There's so many variables. You have so much customization available. It's like, in terms of, it's good to break it down into 2 sections. And this is Mickey's idea, so shout out Mick for this. This was a fucking good one. And it was breaking it down into, you can price a structure, but you can't price the finishing. And the finishing needs to be done on a cost-plus scheme. And because the actual finishing side, there's so much customization, so much choice. When we're pricing jobs up, it's all PC sums. It makes no sense because we're just wasting our time pricing it up because it's going to change.
Yes. So what you're saying is to like build the box. So
build the structure, price that.
Yep,
and then do the cost plus on the rest.
You can't change the structure.
No.
So you can't. This is always
price the
this
structure.
big. This is always going to be, there's a set of doors going there, you know what they are, you know how big the building is and everything else. So brickwork, blockwork, roof tiling, doors, windows, all that stuff, you can price up. But I think what you got to remember with building, and I suppose just put it into perspective, is that the way we price up housing now is the way we priced up housing 50 years ago. So, or 100 years ago to a certain degree. So you'd imagine it, right? 50 years ago, we weren't worried about how cool a house was inside. We just wanted 4 walls and a window and, and outside toilet. And it was all like that. So it wasn't a quality of living like we have today. So nowadays it's all about quality. I want it to be funky, cool, put the nice ceiling fans up, put these nice, put big televisions in and all that sort of stuff. But that wasn't stuff we used to do 50 years ago. But the model of building hasn't changed. So now it needs to progress with the times because people's demand on the builder and the quality of the finish and everything has changed so much. But the building industry hasn't been allowed to adapt to that change. And that's where I feel that this has gone wrong. It's like you take our last job and you turn around to the client. If you turn around and said to me, said, Steve, I want a price for the whole build, you'd have been like, I have no idea. No idea. And let's face it, when we started the job, it wasn't what we ended up doing when we finished it.
Which again is another problem. When you actually take that for a situation, you started off with the idea of a refurb, I take it, and then it just ended up an absolute monster.
Well, yeah, if you took it, my remit when I started that job and when I sat down and negotiated with them was that we were going to spend was an X amount of money, and we had 6 months to do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't remember exactly the figure. Let's just say it's 500 grand, hypothetically, and it had 6 months to build it. By the time we finished it, we were there it's 3 years, and we still haven't finished because we've still got stuff to do. But we've been there pretty much 3 years. We custom built the house as we went along, and then we custom fitted it out as we went along. So no one had any idea. We had no architects, we had no engineers. We had engineers and architects to obviously do the plans and the design, but we had no interior fit out. It was all the client, just sitting there talking and going through stuff. How do you price that up? You can't. But how could I price the structure? But the price of the structure doesn't change.
Yeah.
But the internal fit out could go from being a £200,000 fit out or a £2 million fit out.
Yeah.
So how does a builder? And I had this. We've had this discussion with a client, and he was like, "Oh, other people would have priced it up." I said, "No, they wouldn't have." Because they wouldn't have known what it was. I said, and all you'd have ended up with is a price of £2 million to build your house and probably £3 million worth of extras. It would have been a
Imagine that one
Well,
at the end.
it's like a good question to ask. So, Jay, when you did work around yours, right, when you asked my dad to come around and do the work, did you go to him and go, I know the exact hinges I want on the door?
No, absolutely not.
So how can you price the job?
You want?
No.
How can you price the job?
How do you know what doors you want? How do you know what's going on? How do you know what size TV
Exactly.
you fit in
How
the
do
wall?
Actually, no. We actually done it on the way that. Shout out to Mickey, as he just said. That's basically how our original agreement was.
Oh, really?
We done it on the basis that Steve said to me, right, I'll get the upstairs to this level, and then anything thereafter, we then do it as either it was either cost plus or day rate or whatever it was. But so the stairs went in, the upstairs, all the insulation was done, and it was like, right, now we're ready to rock and roll.
You had a shell
on the next phase. And you know what was great is it as a gentleman's agreement and things, so proper old school. Like we shook hands on the price, and the deal was set. And every now and again, I could pop in, see him, square a bit away, do the necessaries, or it was a proper like a gentleman's agreement.
Do you feel like that's been lost a bit, a gentleman's agreement?
Oh, you can't trust anyone on a handshake deal now.
No. Gentleman's agreement. You think I did that whole job in Sandbanks on a gentleman's agreement?
Yeah, so
it was on a handshake.
It is around.
Well, it wasn't a handshake actually then.
It wasn't.
It was COVID. So
Probably
we had
a fist bump. Yeah, a fist bump. Yeah.
So it was like fisties. And it was like a gentleman's agreement. But for me, I feel that when you enter into a gentleman's agreement, the pressure's on me to deliver on that gentleman's agreement. So I'm very old school. My dad probably brought me up that way, and I think it's just look. I know there's not many of us left now, where you turn around and you'll go into a job and you'll go like, I've made a commitment to that client at X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to stick to that like it's the law.
Yeah.
But most other people would have looked at it and gone, I can exploit this somehow. Look,
your word is your bond at the end of the day.
Exactly, 100%. If you haven't got a reputation for being the man that stands there and backs up what your voice is saying, I've agreed with you to do the job for 100 grand. We're going to shake hands on it. We're going to walk away, and I'm going to do exactly what I set out to do for 100 grand. If at the end of the day I also felt that there was something there that I'd overpriced or something like that, I'd feel that bad that I'd have to tell the client and then turn around and make the deduction because it's just the way I am. Is even when we did it with our client, it was like, we were charging him for everything we were doing, but we were also like getting refunds for certain things and stuff like that. So where maybe we've changed our minds or there was refunds on certain things. And
if we didn't use
we
materials.
made sure that all those refunds went back to him.
Oh,
So that he
good.
saw
I like to hear
he
that.
saw every charge that went to him, but he also saw every refund that went
And
to
they're
him as well.
highlighted in the
Because
cost sheets.
I could have hidden that, I could have been greedy and kept it all for myself. But my arrangement with him was as acceptable to me that I didn't feel that I needed to do that.
That's
Yeah.
But that's where greed kicks in, isn't it?
I've got a good one.
Can I ask that? Can I ask that one?
Yeah, go for it. Brother. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So we've heard obviously you absolutely love pricing jobs up. That's
Fucking
like
love it.
you.
World class.
So no, the next question I want to ask is, what's your favourite part of building?
Doing it.
What,
Doing
the
it. I
actual
mean,
job?
actual.
Yeah.
I think. I'll be
Definitely.
honest with you. I think there's like I love building. I'm a building geek. I love it. I love going. I love meeting other builders and seeing what they're building. I love looking at different houses and stuff like that. I love all that. I love working with the client, especially if you've got a great relationship with your client. There's nothing better for me, and I've done it with families before, and you work for people like that, and you go into there and you do your job. One thing I've always been good at is getting the job done. And the one thing I'm not so good at sometimes is the paperwork side of it and everything else. But that's me because I'm a builder. I've always openly admitted this. I can build you something. I'm not necessarily very good with all the paperwork and everything else comes with it. But my job is to build
But
you
you're
something.
only human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I love that, and I love, when you see, say, like a small family. You've done like Toby. We worked for over in Highcliffe. We did his job, and the satisfaction of them at the end of the job.
That the garden room?
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, it was. We did a loft conversion for the guy about 3 years ago. Just picking him as an example, really, because I just remembered. We had a great relationship before we started the job, but we had a better relationship when we finished the job.
Oh, that's nice.
And because they were so appreciative, because look, we got a great bunch of lads that work for us, and they're very caring.
Even
and
Barry,
Mickey, and all that lot.
Yeah.
Very caring guys. They love working on people's
We take
houses, but
pride
they've
in
got
our
that
work.
respect to work on someone's house. Because I've always said it's like everything. When you walk onto someone's house and you go into the house, you got to remember you're stepping into someone else's home. So you've got to respect that. You don't go walking in and smoking a fag and stuff like that. It's sort of like you just have to be very respectful.
You guys won't actually know this. I'm just going to say about how great the guys are. I was in Bristol. I think I was in Bristol, and I got a phone call, and it was actually an ex-member of your team had taken Jen to the shops. I think it was like we were putting our floor down and we didn't have a massive budget, so they went to B&Q, and he actually took Jen to the shop to pick the floor, to load it in the van and bring it back. So Jen's ringing me going, so I got 2 types of floor, right? Which one do you like? I went, how can I bloody see it? You're on the phone, right? But I just let her pick it. But I've got to say, credit where credit's due. It's a very, very nice floor. And do you know what? Your guy went up and beyond to get that floor for Jen and to come back with her. So,
well, they've always been taught a strict efficiency, isn't it, really? If you're on site for 8 hours a day, if we go to the shop, get the floor in, get it back there on site, and we start fitting it, it means we can finish the job. So it's more efficient for you as a client because you're now paying us more efficiently. If we got to come back because you haven't picked the floor, we got to wait for you to get back from Bristol, and you got to go out with Jen and you decide what floor it is, then you got to get someone to go pick it up. Before you know, it's 2 or 3 days later. Now that's 2 or 3 days we haven't been on site. That's 2 or 3 days that we're now not working efficiently, and it costs you more money. So if it's in our best interest to help you, and this is why I've said to clients, I said, when I'm working for you, I'm like your personal builder. I work for you and work for you alone. So I'm here to help you. I said, make decisions. It's my job to make sure that if you're buying a set of bifolds, you're buying them for the right price. Not that because my mate's going to screw you and take a few quid out of it. It's because the guy I've got in is someone I trust that I know is going to give you a really fair price for a really good product. And that's how it should be. But I think, unfortunately, the industry isn't like that anymore.
What's your favourite trade?
are we going to jump straight in on this?
Yeah,
carpentry. I mean, I'm a carpenter by trade. I mean, I cut my teeth on carpentry from the age of, I don't know. My dad pulled me out of college because I wasn't allowed to go back and got me a job as a carpenter. Started working with a carpenter and loved it. I love wood. I love all that sort of creative.
What's your most hated trade?
No, stop there. What did you just say? What was the last thing you just said?
I can't remember.
What's your most hated trade? Go on.
Hated trade?
Yeah, like the worst trade to work with.
Oh, that is the $1 million question. I don't think there's a really particularly a trade I don't like. Don't get me wrong, I've had some problems with some certain trades, as we've discussed before, plumbers and stuff like that. I think there was an issue over the last few years where I think plumbers were a bit prima donna-y, I'm a fuck plumber, I'm paying £500 a day and all this crap. But I think we've sifted through that and we've now got ourselves, I think, the best plumber in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I think
Shout out Coxie.
Andy Cox, Coxie Plumbing and Heating, 100% is one of the best. Well, not one of the best plumbers, the best plumber I've ever seen.
So I don't know nothing about plumbing, but all I remember is on your job, I went into the boiler room. Is it the boiler room, the swimming pool room, or whatever it was? And I walked in, and there is this like giant of a man on the floor, and all the pipe work and everything is like it's autistically perfect.
I was building some massive. There's a massive level of autism in building.
I can honestly say the pipe work was. I don't know anything about it.
I've never seen a plumber. Well, I mean, there's obviously plumbers that do it, but I've never worked with a plumber like Andy that was lasering like manifolds in and stuff out. And I mean, some of his work, I had to cover it up, but it was like a work of art that I didn't want to cover up, but I had to cover it up because it looks better, obviously, if you can't see it. But that guy, is like, there's people out there that possess this gene that's good. And Andy Cox is one of those guys, you know. And I've got it with a lot of guys. You know, my plasterer, Steve and CJ, that were plastering the house for us. And I thought, we're fucking brilliant. Yeah. You know, brilliant. The quality of their finish and, you know, and all this sort of stuff. The painters, you know. I can't ever say there's a trade I don't like because it's not a trade I don't like. It's a guy I don't like.
We've handpicked our team to be the best of the best.
So what's the hardest? What's the hardest trade to get the best at? Or in your years, what has been? Which one have you gone? They're a wanker. Oh, they're a wanker. Oh, they're a wanker. Which one has been the hardest one to get the best out of? So while you're thinking of that, so the last, you ponder that. So, but when I asked you what was the last thing you said, it was you loved working with wood, and the reason why I wanted you to repeat that was one of the questions I have here is what's your favourite wood? that was.
I don't think there is a favourite wood really.
Yeah, but 100% oak.
Yeah, but there's oak. There's other things.
Cedar.
There's so many. I mean, the cedar. I love the cedar. I mean,
Man wood.
Manwood, yeah. I tend to grab hold of that every morning, even at my age.
Jay, you like this one? My favourite type of wood is Siberian larch.
Siberian larch. I don't
that's lovely.
Do I even want to Google? I
want someone to tell me and go, Brad, you're going to build a fence, and I want Siberian larch wood, and I'll be like, I'm coming in my pants.
It's a nice timber. It is a nice timber. But I can't believe.
As a carpenter,
as much as a carpenter, and much as I love playing with wood and stuff, or playing with my wood. You know, but as much as a carpenter, and like you say, you was always working with timber and stuff. There was never something that really reached out and grabbed me.
Yeah.
I've worked with some weird stuff. I worked with some wood years ago. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it was like a roco or so. It was weird stuff. But it used to bobble. So when you used to handle it, you used to get bobbles on your hands from the wood.
Really?
And it's like a real hardwood. I can't remember what
it was. I was going to say. I was going to say probably carcinogenic or something.
That's probably the reason why I am.
Yes,
it is known as Putin wood.
What happens is when you become a carpenter, where you touch the wood, your head grows. And it's a natural thing.
That had to have been Steve's head's like bamboo.
Yeah. So I used to have a pinhead before I started.
So obviously thinking of what has been the hardest trade to get the best one out of it. In your opinion, what actually makes a good builder?
Oh, a good builder, I think, someone that cares about building.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that doesn't exist. I think there's a lot of luck. We all look at social media and you can all turn around and go, look, some people put some brilliant stuff on there. And there's obviously quite people out there that care a lot about the building. And I think it's caring about it and actually, rather than thinking about the money, concentrating on your job. And I suppose I grew up as a price work chippy, right? So a price work carpenter. So when I say a price work carpenter, I used to go to work and I used to get paid like £150 to put a door on or £200 to put a roof up or wherever it be. So I stopped at a very early age worrying about money.
Got you.
And focused on the job. So if I did the job well, then I knew I'd earn my money. And because I was on a price, it was like, you're not thinking, I'll just take as long as I can. I was just trying to get the job done as efficiently as I could and as quick as I could. And then if I did that right, I knew the money was coming.
Yeah.
Because the money would cover your labour. But
you're going to be held accountable, aren't you? Because if you're on price 100%. And the site agent comes round, he's going to go, you rush that door. Yeah. That's a piece of shit.
Well, but I never forget. Right? So my first initiation. So I'd always worked for my dad and just a couple of jobbing builders that I knew at the time, and I was like their carpenter. And then that sort of work dried up a little bit, and I was introduced to a guy called Wayne. And Wayne gave me the opportunity to start working on a building site. I was 19, right? So as far as he's concerned, I've gone on site as a carpenter. Luckily, because of my dad and stuff, I had bought a lot of the equipment and stuff like that. And I never forget, he chucked me in the show house and said, I want you to second fix a show house. I never second fixed a house in my life.
No.
A fucking
show house as
and
well.
it's a show house. Right?
Everyone's coming around. You're going to be looking now.
I know.
Now,
Snagging
I'd say, because I'd always worked with my dad and stuff, I was always given time to do the job. So it took as long as it took. But I was all about perfection.
Yeah, but that's partly how I've been taught. And that's something you've
Yeah,
taught
but
on to
then
me, was
put it
taking
into
your
pers-
time to make certain you do the job properly and always make certain you're taking pride in your work.
Yeah, you
something
got a
you have
different,
to have in
you got a
building.
different regime, because what I had then when I was thrown in on site, so I was like 19 years old, I've got to second fix the show house, I've got to hang it's a 4-bedroom house, so it's a big house. I'm getting 352, I remember it, 352 quid to second fix it, right? Okay. So I've got probably 10, 15 doors to hang, skirt and architrave, everything, magnetic units to go in, all this sort of stuff, the staircase, all the spindles, all this stuff. It took me 2.5 weeks.
Were you scared?
350
Scared
quid.
shitless, because I was trying to do such a good job. Everything was perfect. All mitres were perfect. This is before the days of chop saws and shit like that. So, and I did the job and everything. Made zero money really. It was like 175 quid a week or whatever. And the painters come in the house, and that was it. They were raging. Oh, this is amazing. You know, this guy's done an amazing job. Everything's fucking perfect. So that was it. That was it. I'm second fixing every freaking house on the site
So that
now.
was, and did you, would you say you were more confident on the
and
next
I think,
one?
that built my confidence up, because I'm a young lad. I'm still trying to learn. I had to get my dad in to help me out on a couple of bits and pieces just so that I could learn. And I sort of kind of blagged my way in.
Sorry to say you're not a young lad no more.
No, I know.
Right, that was really,
Sorry. I just had to change it. Sorry.
That's very hurtful.
So something we did go on earlier. We're going about I'm going to go on to it anyway, about the image of building. Yeah. And I'm going to bring that up and go like how there's certain people on social media that like posting positivity about this industry, showing class work and all that. Then you got
calling anyone out?
You got other people like New Home Quality Control page on Instagram that basically is a guy that goes around snagging houses and showing people, getting millions of views and promoting negativity to this industry and not actually showing the positive side to it of where people do good work. So maybe you should adopt a different method and try and show one and one. So you show one bad person, call them out, and then show one good fucking house build, because maybe that would change people's opinions on this industry.
I think that's on. I don't know if I'm speaking right or not, but I think that there's one of them I watch, and he calls out the bigger corporate builders, and he's like, "I'm back again." He's got some northern accent.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
That's
right?
the guy.
So
Exactly
he calls out all these big players that are like just got men just on site stamping them out. Again, I won't.
Well, I've got a lot.
There's two
I've got
sides
a
to
lot
it.
of
There's two sides.
a lot of experience of working with those big builders.
You shouldn't be promoting it. That's what I'm trying to say. So
But
he's doing it
maybe-
as a career.
but
to try
maybe
and
we should go
further his
towards
career,
exactly.
to get his
He's
money.
He's not
He's
doing
getting money
it.
out of it.
He's not doing
He's
it
getting
to be
paid for this.
constructive.
No.
He's doing it to be destructive.
Yes.
So he's being destructive to this business, because
And the industry.
there is a lot of bad stuff out there, but as much as there is bad, there's always good. It's a bit like everything. But unfortunately, in the UK, we love to jump on the bad. We don't really ever credit the good. I mean, when do you ever hear good news?
No, true.
You never.
But
There's a position in the news industry, surely, for good news.
Oh, there is interest rates.
Yeah, but no one gives a fuck.
Interest rates are dropping, by the way.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
there's
so
some
it's
good news.
That was a
Fucking
conversation
good
we were having the other day, wasn't it? Actually?
Yeah, so they're going to look to be bringing them down. But as an end user, so I'm gonna sidestep you guys, and I'm gonna go end user here. That guy absolutely slates the building industry. To people like us, as in the general public, who are on Instagram, who are on there for sociable reasons, not for business purposes, sociable reasons, we look at it and go, sod that, do I want to buy a home from a big, massive corporate, which actually gives you guys, as the smaller builders, the opportunity to be able to show your creation and show the wealth of knowledge that you have. It just needs now to be funded by some seriously big players who go, do you know what? We've got this 4,000 home build we're going to do. Instead of getting one massive corporate company doing it, we're going to get smaller pockets of smaller builders and to then build them and almost not have a competition, but be able to go, cool, iconic.
Great rivrivary.
Yeah,
It is. I tell you what, I
in
worked
this
on a
industry.
site years ago, so this is a really good experience. So as I was growing up, my dad got involved in it was like this guy owned a massive site and he sold it off in pockets. So he sold off plots. So certain builders were going in, they're buying 2 plots there. Another builder going and buy 2 plots there. My dad went in and bought 5 plots and built 5 bungalows there and everything else out. Now, there must have been, I don't know, 20 different builders on site. Everybody's pooling their resources, but everybody's working together. It's not like a self-build.
Cool, isn't it? I
It
like
wasn't
the
a self-build because that was a sort of that progressed from
team,
that.
isn't it?
But what my point is that everybody was kind of in competition with each other. So if someone did a good idea on their house, everybody else adopted that good idea. So that everything was kind of in keeping. So the whole houses all followed suit, and it kind of worked really well. And that was at the time, I mean, you're going back to a time when bricklayers were bricklayers. I mean, they were fucking superb tradesmen. You know, everybody was superb tradesmen because they've all grown up. They've all grown up with their qualifications, their quality of, you had to learn how to be a builder. Now you can just wander on a building site. You know, Barry's a perfect example of that. He's came to me, 52, was it 52, 53?
53.
Left Tesco's. It's not like he's gone and qualified to be a builder, is it? It's not. He's just gone, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll turn up on Monday and I'll drive the van and I'll just work it out as I go along. And that's what building's become now. But going back 20, 30 years ago, you had to have a city and guilds, you had to do this, you had to do that. There was a proper apprenticeship scheme, and that's just been abolished. And I can't get my head round how this is going to work going forward, and this is our point.
My generation's never going to be able to maintain
this is the
world
point
we're
of
actually living in because we're never been taught about it.
No.
You don't get taught in school, and this is one thing I'm fascinated by, is throughout my entire time in education, they never once brought up the fact of go do a trade. If you don't know exactly what you're going to do, go learn a trade because it's such a value. And that value in a trade nowadays has just been undermined completely, and they just go push, go to the business corporate world, go help corporate companies make more profits and help the billionaires get richer. And it's like,
that's what
instead
happened
of
with our
actually
generation.
saying the opportunity, going, right, guys, if you learn a trade, you can build
they've
your own
done it,
business
mate.
up
They've
and
already-
you can actually...
No, they've done this. And that was my generation. My generation
Well,
were
do you
rammed.
know what? I had a conversation with a guy today, and it was quite interesting, right? Because I went to see a client about a job, and he was talking about his son, and he was going, I've looked into you guys, what you're all about, Mickey, and me, and what we got on Instagram and Facebook and all that sort of stuff. And he goes, it's quite clear where you're coming from and what sort of building company you're trying to be. He goes, now my son, he said, he wants to be a builder. He says, so he's got it in his head. So at the moment he's a window fitter. So he's learning how to be a window fitter. So he's in his head, he's got the idea of going, I'm going to learn window fitting for 2 years. Then I'm going to go work for somebody else doing building for 2 years. And I'm going to work for somebody else because I want to set my own company up.
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation with the guy, and the guy was going to me, so my son's coming up to his 2 years in the window company. Would you be willing to take him on now to give him the 2 years of building? Of course I would, yeah.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, but I don't really want to lose the people I train.
No, exactly.
He's like, but I'm happy to give that experience out because this is the point. You know, we've obviously made this documentary, and that's obviously now.
That's the whole point of this podcast is to raise awareness around the fact that this industry needs to be cared more
back
about.
to what you said about you were never given the opportunity or pushed. Our generation, so I'm 37. At school, all they said was get a trade, get a trade, get a trade.
Yeah.
You have to get a trade. Everybody that left school, I could probably tell you about 15 plumbers my age.
I can't tell you one. I can't tell you. I can tell you one other person. I'm not going to say a name, but I can tell you one other person that I went to school with that's gone into the building industry. And you think building industry takes up to 10% of this economy?
See, do you think it's
10%.
on a life cycle? So what happened was they ramped. So my
Well, it needs to
generation,
be at 10%.
my generation, obviously, I think my age group, were not as sharp nor as knowledgeable because of how fast the internet
We've got the
has
next
grown.
generation of builders all sat there, and we're just not willing to invest and devote time into it.
So do you think that the wheel's going to turn? So they went, my generation, you got to get a trade, Your generation, they went financial sector.
Yeah,
do you think they're going to go,
definitely.
oh, bloody hell, we're short of a few tradespeople. Everyone, next 10 years, you got to have a trade.
There's going to be a
you've got to
massive
have a trade.
panic. There's going to be a massive panic on it.
we
We
haven't
know
got the
now that
opportunities.
we know there's like 250,000 people short in this building industry.
Our
We know that's
backdrop
only
is just looking crap now.
We know it's gonna get worse and worse and worse.
That's not. It's been sorted, mate. Come on.
You know, we know it's going to get worse and worse over
Shout
the
out
next 2
YouTube.
years because it is. I mean, for every
Circle.
100 that leave, 7 come in. So we got a massive fucking problem, and no one's doing anything about it. No one's worrying about it because at the moment it's not causing a problem. But imagine, mate. So put it in 5 years' time. So fast forward 5 years, we're now probably around about 1 million people short in the industry. How much is it going to cost to get an electrician around your house?
Oh, yeah,
The price is going to it's going to just skyrocket because there's going to be
There's
such
gonna be nothing, nobody left.
shortage.
The demand is going to outweigh
It's going
the
to become a rare skill. And this is the thing: if you're actually sat here watching this podcast, if you're not 100% certain on what you want to do with your life, pursue building, or just try and get into this industry.
Well, this goes back to a conversation we had before.
It's crazy.
Your generation is smart as fuck. We've
generation.
invested so much money and time
It's the most
into
educated, basically, you got all these people who have gone to uni, they've come out of uni, and there's no opportunities in this world for them to actually get into the career paths they're actually in. And that is one thing that's fucking frustrating. And it goes, as people, we're told, go to university, you come out of university, you've got a job. You're going to find a job. But now there's so many people that have come out of university and they end up going to work at places like Costa Coffee. And you're like, what the fuck?
Do you know this? Do you know the big problem? And it's not aimed at you, so please don't take this personally. This generation are all about being drop shippers. I'm on Instagram, make 10 grand a day, just sit at home, go off the
Go on, Andrew.
They're lazy fucks. That's the thing, they're lazy.
What colour's your
Bugatti?
Yeah, Jay's put on the glasses. Now he's turned into Andrew.
And it's so true. It's like, oh, have financial freedom, go off to Thailand, do drop shipping. There's a reason now why Thailand want a percentage of money earned in the UK and why they are taxing people working out of Thailand, because this generation are all just wanting to work online. They're not actually going out there working with their hands, and that's on my generation not pushing the younger generation into doing the right things. They are governed by these stupid things.
I mean, these are the most
you are if you're making
thing in the world.
10 grand a day.
Yeah, we look at it from the point of view. Was it, mate? You say people now, we know they exist and they're out there, but there's people there that their day is spent by. And I get it. I get how these young kids now are so impressionable by the phones that if they don't get the likes or they don't get the comments they want,
make sure you like and subscribe to this channel.
It can kind of mentally mess you up, can't it? They're so reliant on getting approval from all of this sort of stuff. And I'm standing again, the best thing you can do is get into the building industry, because that's one place you will get the approval. Yeah. You'll get the approval of your peers.
Well, it's
like
also,
Brad.
It's one thing to mention about building is like you're your own value. You basically bring your own work to the table. So what can you do as a person? Yeah, that's your value. So like one thing I've tried doing in building is trying to learn as many fucking skills as possible, because that adds value to you as a person, and being better at your job just makes you more valuable as a person.
Yeah, but it's not only that as well. It's gaining approval from your peers. Yeah. It's being in a position where you go to a site and say, like Brad learns. And
I started I came on the site, I was 19. No, but I was 19.
You keep interrupting me. I keep trying to say something.
You've been talking all fucking night. Come on, pull them fucking up.
Who wants to hear a quick funny story? Okay, so this is just about this is actually to do with the building. So my dad is an electrician. He is the most amazing man. Jim Dowling, shout out to you, right? He's brilliant. He goes, if you can spark, you can fucking plumb. It's no different. Electricity in, electricity out. Water in, water out. Fuck them, right? The old man's brilliant. He's so cockney it hurts. Anyway, the old man, he done an advanced class. And what it was you had to have a certain amount of O-levels. Don't even know what a fucking O-level is. Shout out to the oldies. Anyway, he had to have a certain amount of O-levels to do this advanced.
Do you have any O-levels back?
O-levels came back in my age.
Did they really?
Yeah, they came back in.
Four O-levels and 3
CSEs.
CSEs.
Yeah,
so we're GCSEs.
Yeah,
GCSEs.
Yeah, it was O-levels and CSEs when we were at school.
But I also just got intro to numbers.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I was like the first year of this number thing, where they basically
that.
had numbers instead of like anything
I'm number
else.
1. What colour's your Bugatti? Anyway, so
I'm number 1. My Bugatti's outside.
Yeah. So they run into this advanced course, and what it was you could be a fully qualified electrician in 2 years. Okay, so they run this advanced course, but you needed a certain amount of O levels. So a class of 30. Guess how many people passed? Well done, Brad. 2. One of them was my dad, and the other one was his mate, because he'd done all his coursework for him, right? And he actually didn't want to be a Sparky after he finished the course and wanted to become a helicopter pilot. But Dad was the age of, like, I think 18. So he started the course at 16, fully qualified, walking onto site at 18, fully qualified, and they would just literally hand him a drawer in and go, "You right, Super Sparks?" Like, do that, and he would get these drawings, and he was one in a million. The old man, literally, true story.
Self-taught in some respects to a certain degree, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
And that's what I think. That's what there is.
building.
Yeah, there is a lot of self-taught. I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to pitch a roof. I know. Yeah, I learned. Well, when I was working with the guy that originally started me in this, I was putting it together, but I never learned how to do it. So I kind of understood how to put it together, but I never knew how to do it, how to measure it all out, how it all worked out. He tried to show me, but I just didn't get it. So I had to, when I started working for him and I started working for my dad all the time, I had to learn it all myself. So I learned how to put a roof on, I learned how to fit a kitchen, and I learned...
No qualification?
Nothing. I've got nothing.
Get me one of them.
Yeah, but one thing I would say is like...
I don't believe in it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, even from my sake, it's like,
exactly.
You can't force a person to teach this. The person's got to be willing to be taught, learn it, and they actually have to go out their own way to do it. In the end of the day, that's the one thing you have to do in building. It's like anything. If you want to pitch a roof, you've got to fucking physically pitch it.
Oh, so I've got a question for you then, Steve. I've got a wiki question. You got two. Let's say two 20-year-olds come in front of you. One of them says, "I've got no qualifications, but I've been pitching roofs since I left school." And I've been putting roofs in, doing cut roofs and things. And then you have a 20-year-old that's fresh out of college. He's got his chippy qualification. Who are you going to take on?
The roofing one, the one that's already done it.
So you would choose
experience.
hands-on experience.
I choose experience over education.
Well,
yeah,
the college system's not great anyway.
Yeah, but
so that's a different
it's terrible. It's not so much.
It's nowhere near where it should be. But the college system should be a place where you go and you get fucking taught how to build. They don't teach anyone how to build there.
They do.
The carpentry course
they do. They teach.
They
teach.
It's a bit embarrassing.
They teach you how to build, Brad, but you've not been to college. You don't know.
No, I don't know.
And I've not been to college. I don't know. But obviously,
I've had experience with other people.
I've had a lot of experience with other people being at college, and there's a lot you do learn at college. So there's a lot about health and safety and awareness, because it's not only about doing the job; it's also about being aware and safe on a building site. So it teaches you all that. It teaches you the hand skills. It teaches you a lot that you wouldn't learn on site. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just it needs updating. It's not bad, and it's not that you're badly trained or you're badly taught in there. It just needs updating to move more current with the times, because building, and this is the biggest crux of what the building's all about, is that it's never advanced. If anything, we've regressed in our building sense, because we don't look at trainees, all the CSCS cards and all this crap that they try to bring out to kind of regulate the industry. Well, it just doesn't work. No one cares about it. Yeah. I couldn't even pass a test for a CSCS card, and yet I can walk on any building site and build houses. So it defies the logic, and yet some 21-year-old kid can sit there and pass a CSCS test and be fucking killed on a building site because he ain't got a clue. Yeah. So, there's I think over the years, I would say the last 50 years, I've seen the building industry regress. The quality of the trade in it is bad. It's got worse and worse and worse. There's still some great people out there. So I'm not disrespecting the industry or disrespecting the guys that are out there. I'm not disrespecting anybody, really. Yeah. It's just a statement. And it's only my point of view. But it has regressed badly. We've not invested in it. And then everybody's now just picked on the process of just trying to destroy the industry. I speak to so many customers now, and they can't trust you anymore.
No, there's
and
no
you can
trust
see
left.
it. I see it. I was pricing a job up for a family, and we basically lost the job because we couldn't provide a reference.
Wow.
And I'm trying to explain to the guy, look, I've been a personal builder for this guy for the last 3 years. Unfortunately, I only have him as a reference for the last 3 years.
Drive past his house, have a look. That's your
but
reference.
I can't
go to
give
Sandbanks,
you,
one of the most prominent locations in
I
the
can't
world
give
where
you
we
this
built a
guy's
house.
number because it's just, I'm not, you just can't. I just wouldn't do that. It's just not the way it's done. And the guy's then looking at it, he goes, well, this all sounds a bit fishy to me. I'm like, no, it's not fishy. It's just that the guy is a guy that he contacts you. You don't contact him.
Yeah.
So I can't give you his number because that's private to me and that's private to him. And the guy's then going, well, this all seems fishy. Unfortunately, we can't progress on this basis.
So hang on. So if it was an A-lister,
lost the job. Bear in mind, I've just showed him around my house. So I've brought him here.
You've welcomed him in.
So I welcomed him into my home and go, this is where I live. This is where I always am. I'm never going to run away. I'm staying here. You can see that, obviously, from what I built. And he's going, oh, no, I just don't feel comfortable about this. I can't trust you.
So if Jason Statham got you to build a house for him. Right, you built a house for Jason Statham, and then Mr. Johnson down the road.
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to have an argument with him barely the money.
Oh my
would
God,
you?
he's a bad-
But could you imagine? Could you
Fucked.
imagine? You wouldn't be allowed to hand out that number. There'd be NDAs signed. Everything.
Exactly. Yeah, but this is my point: is that you've got you when you work for. Look, I believe it's for anybody. I'm not one for posting pictures about people's houses because I think that's private to them.
Yeah.
Any home, your home.
Yeah.
You know, Brad's home, Barry's home. Billy, I got you confused then. Sorry. Well, take
Fucking hell, you got younger.
Take
all
as
of
a
sudden,
compliment,
didn't
yeah,
you?
because he's now dropped 30 years. But you know what I mean? It's I don't want to show people around your house. I don't want to show people around your house. I don't want to show people around because it's your private home. Houses aren't houses anymore; they're homes.
Yeah.
You know, so okay, it's
that's what
it's
iconic
not
projects do.
right. It's not right for us as a company to be putting it all over Facebook, what we've done for you, and this is how. I don't mind fucking photographing my own house, and because that's my house, and it's up to me. But I don't believe in. I believe in it, as a builder and as a person, that what you do for someone is very private.
Yeah.
Because you're in their home, you know, you're in their family, and you get to know them. So they don't want their house plastered all over Facebook or Instagram, or we go like we've done here and filmed a documentary here about how we can bring the youth into this industry and how the youth can gain so much just by working on a small extension like we did here and a fit out we've done here.
Yeah.
You got like. Billy come to us, you know, did the barbecue. Barry's learnt a lot from working here. Mickey has to a certain degree. We all have, because we've all done something different that we wouldn't have normally done. And that is the fucking crux of the point, is to give everybody this experience. And once you've had that experience, and
People need to see the good side of this industry.
if nothing comes good from this documentary, other than the fact that it's a little bit of an education.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of an education on the way that we do it. Not the way everybody should do it, but just the way we do it. It suits our style. It suits me. To be able to teach in the way that I do. I mean, my you know, what have I done? I've probably done, I don't know, 300 trainees over 30 years, probably, something around
Wealth
that.
of knowledge. And that's something people got to
I'm
understand.
good at it now.
Well,
you know, I've mastered
Dude, you're
the
putting
plan.
yourself out there, and you're putting yourself on the podcast, you're putting yourself out in the documentary. You've done all this to try and raise awareness about the fact that this industry needs more attention and needs a better image, and actually has so much potential if we actually were willing to invest into it and take a bit more of a...
Everybody knows it, but no one knows what to do about
Exactly.
it.
So what would be the first thing you would change if we said that if there was a, not City and Guilds, but if there was a, let's say a benchmark that everyone had to do as the first stage towards building. So you go in the entry level course, number 1, foundation, Bosch. What would be the first thing you would encourage trainees to do if they wanted to get involved
Probably
in building?
safety first, safety and awareness, I
Yeah.
think, first.
Yeah.
Just to be aware of how dangerous a
very
building
true.
site is, and to be aware that, you know, just digging a hole in the ground is sometimes not quite so simple if there's a power cable in the ground or something. Just to understand and be aware, because I've
dangers,
watched so many young people, Barry's seen it as well, and Brad's probably seen it, they're carrying timber, they're not aware of anybody else around them, they swing round as they're carrying the timber, next thing they do, they bosh the guy off the back of the lorry or something like that, because they're just not aware of it. So I think, first of all, I'd want to gain awareness of working on a building site and how to operate in a safe manner. That health and safety's gone fucking nuts, as we've discussed before, so it has gone fucking absolutely nuts, but is to be safe. I want everybody to come to work in the morning, go home exactly the same as ever. Every finger's attached, their arms are still on there, your legs are still just a lot dirtier than when they turned up. But happy, tired, and safe.
We want them to go home in their Bugattis because we want to know what colour their Bugattis are, don't they? What colour's your Bugatti, Brad?
Mine's chrome.
Chrome. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's nice.
Sorry,
It's pretty flexy.
You just
know.
popped out.
I got
every
for the
now and
I went
again.
for the Veyron, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's nice. I thought, you know, I'd treat myself.
That's
It's a
fantastic.
Bugatti Veyron. I wish. No, I think, yeah, it's fascinating because like there's so much in this industry that needs
Well,
to
going back to your
change.
question, actually,
Yeah,
because
yeah, you
Jay,
never
going
asked
back
that.
to your question, is like,
What's the first thing you would change?
I think it's probably an education system to start with, and I think I would like to, and it would be my personal thing, would be to start going into schools and stuff because I've been involved with kids coming into this industry for so long. I've been around kids with you growing up, Casey growing up, and her friends and stuff like that. And how many kids have, because they're not academically clever or anything else, end up going to college to a sports fucking
or a Taylor Swift.
BTEC,
Swift
a
course.
BTEC sport thing, just because they got to stay in education.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd love to go to schools at like 15 years old and like his career evenings and talk to these kids and go, look, the building industry offers you everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Gives you the opportunity in some respects to earn that big gay, because it does. Because the next generation of builders is not all about going to work and being a carpenter or being an electrician. Or there's going to be, I progressed from being a carpenter to then a site carpenter, and then to a site carpenter that run 5-10 sites. I mean, I think at my biggest, I had 80 carpenters working for me, running 22 large building sites.
Sounds horrendous.
And that was back in the day.
That's fucking
All right,
crazy.
put that into perspective, because that was back in the day before you had back payments and shit like that. So I have to write checks every week for these lot. And you can imagine writing 88 checks, right?
Wow.
It was horrendous. And the amount of money we spent, and I used to have to take 2 days driving around just to hand out all the checks. And stuff like that. But you put it into perspective, and it was huge. It was so different. And
How old were you then as well?
in my 20s, or 22, 23, I think.
Point proven.
Yeah, that's an
Point
early
proven.
age.
Yeah, so as I say, started as a site carpenter. I was just started as a jobbing carpenter, really, working for a guy. And then, like you say, working for my dad, then going on to sites, then running the sites myself, to then having this big corporate business, in some respect. Then that naivety. I was 25, I think, and the whole business folded.
And that's because, as you rightfully said,
But again,
you struggle with the paperwork.
That, again, all boiled down to the fact people don't want to pay you.
Yeah.
And that boiled down to a company didn't pay me 50. Well, there's 2 stories ago about that. There was one guy wanted a massive backhander. I refused to give it to him, a cash backhander on a job. So he bumped me for the job and I lost 55 grand. So that started the deterioration of the company. Another company heard that I just lost 55 grand, decided not to pay me because they wanted to sort of abuse it. So I lost another 25 of them.
Shows how hard and ruthless it's
Before I know it, I'm £75,000 down. £75,000 down when you owe 88 blokes working for you, and the money you'd have owed them, it was crippling. And I was at an age where I wasn't sensible enough to understand it. So I rushed into being a boss instead of progressing to a boss.
Yeah.
And I then took a step back. I then went back to small. That's when me and Mickey started working together 25 years ago. And went back to small, so it's me, Mickey, and one other, my old business partner, Craig. And then we went working on site, and then I built up again from there. And then the next thing I know, I'm 14, 15 guys, but I'm still working now.
Yeah.
So because I was still working, it was working out really well, and it's probably the best money I ever earned. And then again, you get wrapped up in it, and builders come to you. House builders would come into me and they're going, oh, look, we want you to do our job. And you kind of get hooked into kind of doing it again. And I got wrapped up in it all. And I think, over the last 5 years, coming back down to just being this personal builder, whether it be for a high-end client or average Joe on the street, I don't really care. And in actual fact, I care more about the average Joe because they're the people that need to have this great experience of building.
Yeah, because
not
the hand-holding.
the rich and shame.
Oh, the rich didn't give a fuck about it.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
You obviously want to get a good name in for building. So as I sit on this side of things, how can you get a good name in building if he's being fucking bumped by builders? If a builder is being bumped by other builders,
I know builders that are still doing it now.
Why should we, as the end user, trust you? Give me one reason why I should trust you.
Why you should trust the
Why
builders?
should I trust my builder? Tell me.
Okay.
Why
Why
should-
you
why
should
should you
trust
trust
him? Because that builder's a safe investment, and he's investing his time into your property
Okay,
and
point
making
one.
your property better.
Okay, Brad, you win. Okay, fine. All right. Okay, yeah, that's very
That's
true.
the main reason why. It's like there's actually a lot of money in building. A lot of people. It's just how it's so many variables that it's
Protecting
hard.
you're protecting my investment.
Yes.
This
I'm
is a discussion
yeah.
I've just had literally before we came out. I've just been to see a client, and we've just been talking about. They got look, the house needs some work doing to it. It does need some work doing to it, and they knew that when they bought it. But they were limited budget and everything else. And I was been discussing with them on what you paid for the house. Not necessarily, I didn't need to know exactly what it was, but I said, what you paid for the house and now what you're going to invest in the house. So let's just take it broad scale, right? So they paid £500,000 for the house. They're going to invest 100 grand. That house is now going to own 600,000. Is it worth it?
Yeah,
Is it worth it? Is it worth it? So if that house was only worth 600 grand finished, you'd sort of argue the case of like probably not spending the 100 grand on it. But is the house going to be worth 800,000 when it's finished?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, then it's worth investing 100 grand. Bearing in mind,
make
the other
200.
Yeah, so you've made 200,000. Now that 200,000 is tax free
Yeah.
because it's your
Ooh,
personal residence.
Personal
So
residency.
I like that. And I had exactly the same discussion with another lady this afternoon. They're going to be moving in with her parents or parent, and we were debating like how much the house is worth, how much they're going to have to spend on it to have what they want, and is it now going to actually be worth it? Would they? They're not looking to make a profit like right now because they're not going to sell it straight away. But there's nothing more assured in a client's mind.
Yeah, longevity.
Yeah,
longevity.
well, it's like
the
you
asset.
you
You're
take your
investing in your
bungalow
asset.
and we did the conversion on it and everything else. That now you know that bungalow is worth way more than what you originally purchased it for and what you spent on it.
Yeah.
So it was a good investment. Barry did exactly the same thing when he did his house. And when I did this house, what I've invested in this house, I know it's worth more than what I've invested in it. So it's a good thing
I
to
think
do.
the value of bricks and mortar has turned into a bit.
Well,
of
if you turn
shit,
around and said to
but
every
it's
client,
actually very valuable.
I was talking to a lady today, and I said, look, if you're looking for something to buy where you're going to make good money, buy a bungalow in a road where there's houses, if you can find one. But if there's not, just buy a bungalow, a nice size footprint bungalow, do a conversion.
Turn it into a chalet.
And you're guaranteed to make a good couple of 100,000. Now, if you turn around and said to every single private client, this is what you could do, everybody would be on it. Oh, by the way, that money's yours. It's tax-free. It's all yours. And the government can't take it from you because it's your personal residence.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, mate, there's a lot of money in building.
This is how I argue the VAT on refurbishment. It's like everybody goes, I got to pay the VAT on a refurbishment. I go, yeah, I know, but look how much money you're making tax-free. If you did as a new build, it becomes a business, and if it's a business, you get taxed on it. If it's a refurbishment and it's your own private property, the money you make is the money you keep.
Oh, we like that.
So if it was me, and if I was advising anybody, and you were young, and as you get into this trade, go buy your first house, refurbish your first house, sell it, make a profit, go buy another one, sell it, do it again, buy it, make a profit. You couldn't do that unless you got a trade.
Yeah.
Because once you've got a trade, you know all the other tradesmen you need to know to get the job done. You then know how much everything's going to cost. You can control it better.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, by getting a trade, you've now educated yourself on how to work in the building industry. You've now worked out how you can actually make money. You're now one step closer to that dream of owning that Bugatti, that Ferrari.
What colour's your Bugatti?
Those 3 holidays you want every year to Dubai or whatever is all now becoming possible.
Yeah, it's all through building. Building's got a lot of value.
Through building. And I know it all the time. Look at Ash. Ash is, 21 years old? She's gone away for 4 months travelling because of the money he's earned through building. He's got a massive toolkit. He's been able to sort of get himself to a level where he's enjoyed his life, he's got nice clothes. Now he can go travelling for 4
private
months because
jobs
he's
on the
saved
weekends.
up that money.
Yeah.
Through working and being able to earn. He's 21 years old, and now he's gone travelling 4 months, self-finance.
He's gone to, as well, the Gili Islands. I gave him some advice to go and check out the Gili Islands, and I went to Gili Meadows, which is nicknamed the Honeymoon Island. I think he's gone to Gili Tea and Gili Air, which are the 2 party islands, and
that'd be about right. I think he's going to spend 4 months partying, isn't he? So,
definitely would rate
well, I debate whether he'll be there for 4
Ash.
months if he carries on partying the way he is. So, it's one of those. But my point is you got a guy that's, say, coming out of university, 21 years old, goes then, we know people that have been, been in that situation where they've come out of university, they're very bright. Bailey is a great example of being very bright and stuff like that. So he goes to a job, he wants to go for an interview. They go, oh yeah, you're quite clearly qualified to do the job, but you've got no experience. So we can't give you the job.
Well, hold back.
And you're like, fucking hell, what the fuck? And then that boy, we turned around and went, well, actually, what do you mean you got no experience? Do you reckon you could build a documentary? And he's gone, yeah, I can do that. All right, go on then. And he's gone like, what the fuck? I've never had anybody trust me to build an hour.
I just handed him a bag of camera equipment.
Yeah.
The camera equipment we'd used to film this podcast as well. So I was handing it over to him. I was like, this is what you got. And he opened up and went, I could do some of that. Yeah. And that's how it all started. That's how the documentary came about.
My point is it give the people a chance and you'll be surprised what you've got. But my point is he's 22. he wants to go travelling, but he's had to now work his arse off over the last 8 months with us doing this documentary and everything, get his money together so he can go travelling.
Yeah.
Whereas Ash has had that years and years of working, partying. He hasn't got a student loan to worry about. He hasn't got any of that. He's saved himself up 7-8 grand to go away. You know, he's got all his gear. He's doing it properly.
Yeah.
So he's able to go travelling, he's able to party, he's staying in villas rather than in hostels and stuff like that. So he's kind of living the life really a little bit. He's a player, isn't he? So
he's going to end up building over there.
Yeah.
That's what'll happen.
Yeah, he's going to come back and go,
Ash
Steve, you
ain't
want to see
coming
the way
back.
they
You
build
better
in
not come
Thailand?
back.
We
We
need to
don't
get our
want you
ass
to be
out
fair
there.
now, Ash. You've been replaced
Yeah, by Jay.
with Jay.
Yeah. Yeah, Ash, what colour's your Bugatti? Right?
So, Jay's now encouraged to start working in the building industry and give up the self-storage.
No, I haven't got it, unfortunately. Do you know that's the really
No, you
sad
haven't.
thing?
There is a level. In some ways.
You can't teach everybody.
It's a gift.
No, 100%.
It's a gift.
Can't
Yeah,
teach
it's a gift.
everybody. You've either got it or you haven't, and you've got to have that want. And I've always said the very first thing I want to have any trainee is just to turn up.
Yeah.
As long as you just turn up, you've got the discipline to turn up every day and just come to work. The rest of it, I will teach you.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily down to me. It's down to everybody. Barry, Brad, whoever's working. Whoever you're working with was going to teach you. I will guide you.
Yeah.
I will look after you. I will make sure that you spend your money every week. So if you earn your money at the end of the first week, I'll blow it at the weekend because I want you to be skinned by
I
Monday
want you
morning.
back on Monday.
Because you're then back, or you've gone out and you've gone, I earned 200 quid this week. I've gone and spent, bought myself my first pair of trainers that I bought, and they were 100 quid. Yeah. And then over the weekend, he's gone and spent something else, and all money's gone. So on a Monday morning, he's keen as fuck to get back into work because he knows at the end of the week he's going to get another 200 quid, which means he can go buy the jeans that he wanted, or, you know what I mean? And it's that hunger.
Do you know what I saw? Actually, I got to say, probably before the end of this. Actually, I thought this was really lovely, and it was on Instagram. It was a builder, youngish builder, and he's got his apprentice, and he says, "Right, I'm going to give you two options. You can either have £100 cash bonus for your hard work you've done this week, an extra £100, or he said, I'll give you £200." But you got to go and buy tools with it.
Oh, that's a good
and
one.
the young lad
That's a
went,
good one.
I'm going to go and buy tools with it.
Good
And it was a
nice.
beautiful
Nice.
moment that I watched it and thought, he's got a really good apprentice.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
actually, he's
I
got a sick
try and tell
apprentice.
to most of the guys that come on, it's like something I'd done is I just kept investing into my toolkit, and it was something I was just doing, accumulating every fucking tool I needed, and I've got every tool I'll need to do the jobs now I can do, and that is a value to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not
And
only a value. It's one is you got the asset of it.
Yeah,
Two,
yeah,
buy
you've got the assets. You
buy
can
it when
always
you
sell
live
it.
at home with your mum and dad because you're not going to be able to buy it when you're living with your girlfriend in a flat and stuff like that because
Yeah.
you're not just going to have the surplus cash to be able to do it. Also, because you've got the tools, you can do other jobs.
And it's
Yeah.
not-
So
it's
well, on the
not with me
weekend,
putting
you
50
might be
quid
doing.
aside.
Next thing you know, you're building a deck area for your dad in the back garden. And
Yeah.
because you got all the equipment to be able to do the job. But you wouldn't have been able to do it if you didn't have the equipment. That earns you that little bit of extra
Yeah.
cash, and that's what helps people go like Ash
Yeah.
and travelling and
It's the
stuff like that.
opportunity it gives you.
Opportunity, yeah. And
Definitely.
what else
It's
does it
like,
open
I
up?
look at it and I used to put aside 50 quid, and that was my thing every week. And when we first started, I was like, I'll just put 50 quid aside and invest it into a toolkit, and that slowly grew throughout the time. But it's that doing that weekly has now got me to the point I don't need to invest into tools no more. I'm done. I've got
All you
every-
need to do is
I-
maintain it.
Yeah,
Right?
and look
Just
after and
maintain it,
add
yeah.
when a tool breaks every now and then here, etc. But
They've only got a certain amount.
yeah,
of
they
life,
have a
haven't
life expectancy, but warranties. Always sign up your tools to warranties, simple stuff like that. It's just register them, because if there's a problem, you can send them back and you get a brand new one back.
Do you know what I
And it's
find
like,
really weird with tradespeople? And I've
people
got to
don't
just
do
say
that shit.
on a
Like,
different
really?
on a different level, having a business whereby you have a warehouse and everything like that, and you have staff, not a tradesman as in he's only got a van and a set of tools. I find it daunting when a tradesperson puts it on Facebook. They're like, I've just had my van broken into, and if anyone that finds any Makita drills. Why the hell didn't you get them bloody insured, right? Because I have to pay building
Yeah.
insurance, employee liability insurance. I have to make sure everything is covered. It's arse up. A tradesman's only got one bloody van to think about. Why don't they insure their tools?
Yeah.
It's not so simple anymore.
It is.
It's
No,
not
it
so
is.
simple.
gotta be a
basically have to
Unfortunately,
keep all
because
the
of the
receipts.
security on vans and stuff out the shit. I mean, let's face it doesn't matter what insurance you got on your vans. They're building. I've seen someone the other day, and it was quite interesting on Facebook. They're now selling cages that go inside vans.
Yeah.
I'm
So they
looking
have
at
like
it,
a safe.
Hold on a minute.
It's
Let's just-
amazing that.
No, let's just put that into perspective. build a fucking better van with a better security system, so we don't have to put all these cages.
Yeah,
and
we've got metal and metal.
Yeah, so how many times
crazy.
you seen a break-in now? And these guys, especially, it seems to be a transit, seems
like
to
a
be the
vault.
worst one. And there's a fucking hole in the door. They punch it through with whatever a hole saw, which takes about 30 seconds. Pushes this button, and the door opens. They're emptying the van out.
Yeah.
And why is it that simple? And how come these people have fucking worked this out? Because if they work out a way of stopping it, make the doors heavier, thicker steel, so it's a bit harder. I don't know, but come up with a better solution rather than after sale cages in vans and alarm systems. And if it was I had my way, I'd electrify the fucking thing.
Well, there was that
I'd plug
electrician.
in every night. I go touch that fucking man, and he'll be down the street somewhere by the time
Some
I finish.
electrician had done that. He had literally wired it up so the back handle on his thing had two
Fucking
little prongs that
genius.
come down. That like a taser.
throw that. Wouldn't do it again, would they?
No, that's brilliant.
I think that's
I'll tell you what,
amazing.
there's a great thing though. And one
I
thing
caught someone when I was younger in the back of a van. Me and Craig. We were
just say
fitting the
there's a
van out,
great-
and we actually caught a guy in the back of the van. We went for lunch, just lunch at his house, and a guy was in the back of the van trying to take tools out of the bag.
Yeah,
And we caught him in the back, shut him in. Shut him in the van, and then drove down the fucking road. Like,
would have been on
beat the
flying.
shit out of him without actually beating the shit out of him. He was battered to hell.
You can have
all
whatever
the
tool
tools
you
were rolling
want.
around the back.
You can have
He
whatever
was-
tool you want as long as you hold on to it.
Yeah, he was rolling in
hell.
the back and everything. And then we drove back up to the place about 10 minutes. He's screaming and he's everything else out. And then we opened the doors. He tried to jump out. We just grabbed him. And he was like, mate, and we pinned him against the wall. Ever fucking do that again? He was like, well, no. And hopefully, I'd like to think we put him off the idea of it.
See, there's a great thing, right? And there's I'm just getting it up on my phone, and it's called. See if you can get this on the camera. Can you get that on the camera? Can you see?
Here we go, Barry's skills.
Yeah, it's fine. But that in terms says is van alarm. Van alarms, right? They're fucking basically you basically put them inside your van, and you can it has trackers, it has like full automated like alarm system, right? So if you pull the handle on the door, it sets off a trigger.
Yeah.
And then the second time you pull that handle, alarm goes off. So as any person going up to your van, even if your van's unlocked, they open it and
They
you've
don't give a
had the
fuck,
alarm
do they?
on.
You imagine how long.
No, but
if you were
I
in bed
get
at
it,
night, right? If
but
I was
it's
in bed at
fucking
night.
loud. It is fucking
Yeah, I know
loud.
that. But if I'm
That
in
is
bed at
something
night,
as a deterrent, I would say for 90 quid, it's worth getting.
I'd say
That's
as
a
a deterrent,
joke.
build better fucking vans.
Well, yeah, but that's
Simple
that's
as that, isn't it? And if everybody, and then the other thing about it is right, if everybody stopped buying all these fucking nick tools, then they would have no market for it.
Yeah, there's
If
people
everybody
out there.
took a stance and went, I ain't going to do it. Because who is buying all this fucking tools?
Yeah.
Because you go to all these, I mean, you see it on Facebook and Instagram now.
Probably corporate firms.
No, it's not
find out.
them. But you know
No,
what I mean?
we'll
It's
find
it's like it's just DIYers and stuff. They're not realising, you're feeding. If you feed the market, then it's going to keep feeding. It's like drugs, isn't it? If you stopped, everybody stopped taking drugs, there'd be no drug dealers because there'd be no one to sell drugs to. If you stopped buying all the stolen tools, then no one would be stealing them. They don't. You don't know what you're doing to somebody by robbing
Yeah, but people
their
don't
van.
give a shit. They just see it as cheaper for them, and as the end user.
Yeah, but I looked at it. I mean, we lost a whole van of tools, right? Probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Literally, someone middle of the day, bear in mind we had a new van, and they literally backed up to our van, popped the back doors, emptied the lot. 25 grand's worth of kit we lost. We had fucking everything you could possibly think of. Lost a lot. And you're looking at it, and we started writing lists, and we were like, oh, you're never going to ever account for all of this. It's something we built up over 20 years. People don't realise what they're doing to people.
Yeah.
Because builders don't earn that amount of money. We can go, oh, don't worry about it. I'll just go out and buy another 25 grand's worth of tools. Because you can't. Now that builder's got to spend the next 5 years trying to piece that kit together. Because
As well as
it's
his
having that
equipment.
disposable income above his usual living, isn't it? So you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay your vans, you got to pay all this sort of stuff. And then on top of that, now I've got to renew a £25,000 toolkit.
God
That's... even if
It
you
can
said
kill
5
business.
years, it's £5 a year, clear money.
£100
You've
a
got to
week.
have spare
Yeah.
to put towards buying a new kit. People don't know what they're doing to people. And I tell you, I know pretty much every builder that's ever had their van stolen would quite happily beat the living fuck out of the person that did it.
Yeah.
And I think justifiably so as well.
Yeah.
And I think this is the problem. If you imagine this I've like we
It
got
needs
friends.
to be taken more seriously.
We got friends that fly and shit. Imagine they've been in countries where people get their hands cut off, and they for
What,
robbery.
Dubai?
Yeah.
And you know what happens in Dubai? I drive my Bugatti in Dubai. I like to drive my Bugatti. Nothing happens to my Bugatti in Dubai.
I think that's what we start doing, mate. Is we're builders now. We'll start getting reciprocating tools, and we're going to start catching these burglars and cut their fucking hands off.
Could you imagine?
That's going to like Saudi. That's going to Dubai.
Could you imagine that?
And we'll do it publicly in Bournemouth, so we humiliate them.
Imagine putting on the back of your van, whatever tool I catch you stealing, I'm going to use to cut your hands off with, right?
Skill
So
swords
yeah,
and
you get
shit.
skill sword. You steal my hammer, I'm going to smash them all off. You know, these are great deterrents. These are great deterrents.
Mate, it's like everything, isn't it? The only way you can ever stop it is by changing the way you deal with it, isn't it? And I'm not saying everybody get vigilante and start going out and smashing the shit out of everybody who robs vans and stuff out. But come on, you know, we got to get this. Never existed. I never worried about my toolkit when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, I never worried about it. I had it in the back of my van. You could see into the back of my van. Toolkit was there. I didn't have to worry about it. Now everybody, that would be a fucking nightmare. It'd be gone.
Yeah.
And I think it's dangerous. It's scary now because it's not fair. Brad's taken his whole investment of 4 or 5 years working in the building, or 3 or 4 years, and he's invested thousands of pounds of his own hard-earned money that he's gone to work and manually sweated for. And then some little scrope comes along and robs the fucking man and sells that 5 grand's worth of kit for 500 quid.
Yeah.
And you'd go, I'd rather give you £1,000 not to fucking do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just knock on the door and go, I'm going to rob your van. I go, here's £1,000, don't bother. And if you come back again, if you come back again for another £1,000, I swear to God, I'm going to break your fucking legs.
On the back of their van, it's like a little thing, a little key fob, and you can put £1,000 in the back of the van so someone can come up and take the £1,000 out instead of breaking in and getting your tools.
Honestly,
it's
I mean, I don't think
I don't get it either.
I don't think I've met anybody yet that hasn't been turned over at some point or another. And I think that's such a shame because that's quite a high. And the government, they go, like, we ain't going to do fuck all about it. The police ain't going to do fuck all about it because it's minor crime. But they don't actually understand what it's actually doing to the everyday guy.
Yeah.
And then we get the tax man going, oh, why haven't you paid your fucking £5,000 tax bill? Oh, well, I've had my fucking van robbed. And I've got no tools, so I had to take the £5,000 I had saved for my tax to buy all my tools so I could go to work to earn the money to try and pay my tax bill. Yeah. And they go, yeah, well, if you don't pay your tax bill now, we're going to fucking take you to court and bankrupt you. Yeah. You go, fucking hell, really? You know, and it all stems back to the government. If they do, they've got to do something about this. The government have got to do something about building. They've got to do something about the theft of this industry. It's just fucking get to grips with this shit. I'll tell you now, if I was in charge, no one would fucking do it. No one would do it. I'd make sure of it because I would turn around and I'd make it the law. The building
industry needs
if
to be
someone
protected.
robs your van, you've got every right to fucking beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
And then that will start because there's some fucking builders out there that are horrible people. You can imagine some guy getting, your hammer hands, you'll never fucking rob my van again.
Of life. It brings up very hard characters.
Yeah,
it's a different breed of people in the building industry, and a lot of people find that intimidating as clients.
But
it must be intimidating when you have someone come around your house and they're 6 foot, well, my height, 6'2", and they come around, they're big bloke and they're powerful, they're strong, they can build shit, they're creators, and people are like, whoa, intimidated. No, builders can be trusted.
There's most genuine characters going, aren't they? I mean, I think my experience,
real
your
people,
experience,
hard-working people of this world. And we care about this world.
What I used to do when Brad used to leave the house, and I'd be like getting him out the door. I'd be like, "Bye, Brad. See you later. See you later, Brad. Yeah, take care, mate. Bye, 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 bye." I'd shut the door and go, "Fucking puff."
I could take him.
Yeah, I could take him. I can't with them massive hands.
How many press-ups did I do?
12.
No. How many press-ups did I do in 30
I lost
seconds?
count. It doesn't matter because you quit.
35.
Come on.
If I'm a puff, you're a full-time bodybuilder.
Hold on. Let's put it in perspective. You quit, so we've lost our test after that. So maybe you quit. We would.
Yeah, we would have seen it
It's
through,
like,
Steve.
I wouldn't make a statement and then not back it up.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's
for
hard.
next week.
It's true,
Next
though,
week,
isn't it?
I'm coming. I'm
So
doing
at
50
this
press-ups.
point, at that point, we lost interest. We stopped the stopwatch. We fucking didn't bother counting, and it was just.
Yeah, sorry guys.
It's one of those idle threats. I could do.
Next week, I'm coming in. First thing we're doing on next week's podcast, I'm coming in 50 press-ups in a minute because I'm going to fucking show you. I'm going to do 70.
Brad,
come on, I'm
Brad,
calling it.
you got this. You got this.